Good morning, and welcome to another edition of the Money and More Show. It's the Small Business Insights edition. I'm Don Emmett, and we have a very special guest in the studio today.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Finbar Gallagher of Fraysen Systems.
Great to be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Finbar, for coming by. And from our studios here at WCOM LP, Chapel Hill and Carborough. So Finbar, why don't you tell us a little bit about Fraysen Systems?
Great. Well, Fraysen Systems is a business process automation and big data, Internet of Things platform company. So basically what we do is provide the tooling, the infrastructure to collect data from real world processes and turn it into information and then automate day-to-day business processes in your company. So processing orders into a production system, or collecting data from a production line and turning that into information so people can understand what's going on and make the right decisions at the right time.
Fascinating. The whole big data thing is kind of a buzzword today. How long has Fraysen been?
So we're an old startup. So
okay.
we founded in 2002. So we're a 15-year-old company, founded in Ireland actually, and moved here to the U.S. last year.
All right.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
So can you give us a real life example of maybe one of your clients, how they use the data to?
Well, actually, one example I like very much is our first customer here in North Carolina. It's a great printing company in Raleigh called Glover Corporation. And about 4 years ago, we met with them and presented the whole idea of collecting information from their manufacturing processes so that they could become more efficient. And basically they said after the presentation, that's great, we really like that, but actually we've got all these other business problems here we think you could solve for us first. And so what we've done with them is built systems to automate how they schedule their manufacturing, how they manage their material flow. And the interesting thing about printing is it's a very complicated business. Every job's different. Your business cards are different from my business cards, are different from somebody else's sheet music. Okay, so they have a lot of complexity and they have a lot of technology that they have to link together, and it usually doesn't. So there's a great opportunity for us to step in there and really free up their most critical people to do more valuable things, like actually go out and sell more to customers and things like that. Yeah.
Cool beans. So, you've been in the States now for a year.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give us some insights into what your strategies are for growing the business?
Yeah. So, long-term, Fraysen is a software company. So basically, underlying everything we do is a tool set that we built. Think of it like software Lego. It allows you to plug together very complex software systems very quickly. So that's great for software engineers, but for real businesses, what you have to do is you have to solve actual problems with that.
Mm-hmm.
So at this stage of the company, we're services, we're a solutions company. We go into people like Glover, we understand their problem, and then we very quickly build a solution for them to address that need with our toolkit. So our route to success is initially as a solutions company, then as we build traction with that, we'll bring on other partners, and eventually we'll kind of step to the background and provide the tools that allows other people to succeed and solve people's problems. So it's a very ambitious vision, kind of starting in small steps.
So, as a sales and marketing guy myself, how did Glover find out about you? Did you reach out to them? Did they find you?
It's networking. It was personal connections, which is very important, especially at an early stage. A lot of marketing, I think, for early stage companies really needs to be it's network marketing rather than any kind of more grandiose kind of strategy. And that's one of the nice things about this area, actually, is that one of the things that North Carolina has is there are fabulous kind of personal business networks here, where people will really actually step out of their way to connect you with people that could benefit you, or you could benefit them. And it's not something you find everywhere else. It's a really great asset to have.
For full disclosure, Finbar and I are both members of the North Carolina Executive Roundtable.
Absolutely,
and I think I did meet you before that. I think just in networking around town, around Chapel Hill, and you are a Chapel Hill resident, I believe.
That's right. Yes. Yep. We really like the area. It's a great atmosphere, great schools, and so it's a good place to.
It's a great place to do business and
exactly
live.
Right.
And, there's a lot of like-minded people in the technology access.
Yes. Yeah. It's there's a wonderful kind of ecosystem here of software engineers, people that have started businesses before. So one of the key steps to actually being able to move here was meeting my business partner, Anthony Edwards. He's president of Fraysen Systems. I'm CEO. He focuses on the business side of things. He's a serial entrepreneur. This is he started several companies prior to this. So it's great to be able to plug into an environment here where there are people like that with that sort of experience and expertise. It really accelerates things.
So in terms of I guess developing your software and the code and such, and I guess when I sit down with most business owners, the human part of it is one of the most difficult pieces.
Yes.
So does Fraysen, in terms of your human resources strategy or people strategy, how do you go about getting coders? Do you give employees? Do you contractors?
So at the moment we're pretty small. We've kind of kept it very tight. Most of our relationships so far are contract, like you said. You're really a business the size of Fraysen. You're really what you're hiring for is attitude. I think it's not necessarily a particular skill set, but it's people that understand the urgency of a startup and are willing to take responsibility for things, whatever that may be, from fixing computers to making a sale. It's like it's like we're the only people here, so you can't be precious about what you're prepared to do, or unwilling to do things you haven't tried before. I think that's one of the, and it's a big difference for people coming from a large corporate background, where you get used to doing one thing and doing it very well. It's like some days that's what the company needs, and that's great, and other days we need somebody to run to the store and buy power strips. It's like, are you going to do it or not?
Okay.
So that's really what we're looking for.
I get the feeling, you're an old startup, or perhaps you've started up twice.
We've pivoted several times, absolutely, and you have to be able to do that. So we started in Ireland very much focused on what you would call operational intelligence for high volume automated manufacturers, of which there was a lot in Ireland at the time. This is around about the turn of the millennium, and that's the background I come from. So I worked for HP. I helped start up large facility in Ireland. I helped start that up. I landed the first production line there. And so, but then around about the turn of the century, the decision making for all those plants got pulled back to corporate headquarters. So all of a sudden we were trying to sell to people who no longer had the authority to buy anymore. So we had to pivot and then look for what was the most compelling offering we could make, and where did we need to go to address that. And that's what brought us here. It's like, is it, are we offering the wrong thing? Are we doing it the wrong way? Are we the wrong people? Or are we doing it in the wrong place? And I think from a business point of view, if there's anything we should have done faster, it's probably actually come to the US.
Okay.
Because it's so much larger a market. It's so much more accepting of new ideas or new ways to do things. It's not that you kind of just walk in the door and people say, here's my money, but people are willing to take a calculated risk in a way that in other cultures they aren't necessarily. And then the third thing that we found here, which is really great, is there's an appreciation for marketing in its truest sense, which is understanding what people need and then connecting your offering to that need that I still don't see in other places. And especially for a startup, when you're selling something that's quite a complicated offering, marketing is key. And if you can get that, you have a chance of success.
Is since you've moved the company to the States, is there an event or a timeline that you can look back on and say, that's quite a risk, I would think, in your family, in your life? Is that first client, what led you to believe that this is going to work out? This is going to fly here.
It was a couple of steps, Don. First of all, that first client. So because I credit Glover with actually seeing our technology, which offered some very definite value, and actually being able to have the insight to say, actually, there's this much more compelling value over here, and we think you can solve that, and we'd like to give you a chance to do that. That was a big one. And then realizing that that was a general need, not just one company, but it was something that lots of printing companies needed. And then finally connecting with the right people. So, a great marketing company and great business partner, that put the pieces together to say, this is going to work. Yeah.
In terms of advice, what would you say in your career, or either with Fraysen or with HP, what's the best piece of business advice that you received and or that you'd like to pass on to a fledgling entrepreneur?
I'd really say it's and again, it partially comes from Glover, partially from Hummingbird, who are the marketing company we work with here.
Wendy Coulter, she's been a guest on the Small Business Insights.
So really, really, really great people to have on your team. And so the way I like to put it is, you can see a lot of when you're starting out, you can be convinced that there's a need that you're addressing, that there's something that people really should want. But if they regard that as good but unexciting, the way I like to put it, it's a broccoli product. You should eat it. It's good for you, but it really doesn't excite you. Then you need to pivot. You need to find what I call the steak product, something that sizzles, that people get excited about. Because you, as a startup, when you're trying to sell to people, you have so many strikes against you. You're small. You're unproven. They're taking a risk. You really need to overwhelm that risk with something that's so compelling that they're going to put all those things aside and go with you.
So, I guess, so you're saying, to paraphrase,
Yeah.
don't be afraid to fail, I guess, and don't be afraid to pivot and to change your offering
And
as the marketplace changes and/or.
and as you find, as people point out more compelling applications for your service or your technology or whatever it is, always be looking for that more compelling offering. And as you said, don't be afraid to pivot.
Good stuff. And finally, I guess selfishly in my world, where I deal with a lot of exit strategies.
Yeah.
What might an exit strategy or the future look like for Fraysen? Is it
We're fairly open. Like obviously the big dream is we grow large. Maybe take on eventually our VC ready and take on funding to grow. But we're open to acquisition or merger. So it's going to be something like that. Yeah.
Well, great stuff. We appreciate you coming by the studio today.
Yeah. Thanks very much.
If people want to get in touch with you or learn more about Fraysen, how might they do that?
So www.fraysen.com, FRAYSEN.com. That's us.
Fraysen Systems.
That's right.
And that's great. I'm Don Emmett, Managing Director of Entrust Associates. For you radio listeners, we'll be back in a few moments with continuing our conversation with Finbar. For SBI viewers, we'll see you next time.
Thank you, John.